Hey, there we go. Okay. Second audio check, about 10 seconds in. All right, so back at it again, getting back into streaming. Took a little bit of time off. Never actually really got started to begin with. One of the things I wanted to get back into is doing this and adding a little bit more um, thought, effort, professionalism to it. Learned a lot over the past couple of years, so coming back into it and really just wanted to. Boy, that comes off really loud in the headphones. Really wanted to actually create a new stream um, altogether, really focusing on just adding. Oh, I gotta adjust those settings. There we go. Really just trying to add a little bit of my own personal touch and flavor to it. You know, one thing I'm thinking about is actually the purpose of me even starting this, and I thought about it for a while. It's like, I want to add a lot of value to people's lives, and so I wanted to see what would it look like to almost do like a podcast on some of the things I'm learning, things I'm growing through. Maybe just some helpful things that could help, um, people who are going through something, looking to succeed in their life. Almost like an educational podcast mixed in with some casual gaming. Um, something that, hey, maybe you're not looking to actually focus intently on what's happening. Maybe just want a little something in the background. And so I was like, there's a lot of times I'll listen to like a YouTuber in the background. I was like, what if I actually did something like that, but added um, like podcast style commentary to it? Because those are some of the other things I love too, is listening to like Chris Williamson, or some of those other podcasts out there. My mind is totally blanking. But actually just kind of combining both those together. So looking to get consistent with streaming and then get consistent on content upload to YouTube as well. Ooh. Oh, okay, so it's almost like a little puzzle too. Interesting. It's adding some fun stuff like this. Um, and originally I had titled this stream something else: New Purpose, New Vision, New Why. Um, and I think on the why, I just kind of felt like there could be not even necessarily a market, but just at least one person who might come onto the stream and hear something and be like, hey, I can do it too. Or maybe they go and do a rough patch in life and maybe just need someone to listen to or talk to. I mean, who knows? I plan to be really interactive with the stream chat. I was actually even thinking too of doing co-working, at least on stream. One, that's almost more for me to help me focus too. And so, yeah, just kind of putting it all together. I feel like I've learned a lot on how to do things principally and professionally in the past couple years. So I'm looking to see what it would look like to actually implement something like that. Actually put it into something I've failed on before. And I think that's actually even the beauty of streaming is you can start with almost nothing, very little buy-in, make as many failures as you want, and then kind of go from there. And so I think that's part of it too, is kind of just saying, yeah, like how far can I go with this? Um, so I've been doing a little bit of research, a little bit of self study. And that too. So other things I'll need to learn too is even when it comes down to what kind of sound of music. And hopefully, as I'm going through this process, maybe there's someone out there who was like me. It was like, man, I've wanted to get into streaming for so long, but didn't know how to, didn't know what to do. Maybe even I can. Obviously, I can't help them out 100% because just started back streaming. But what if I can walk them through some of the processes I'm going through, or some of the YouTubers that that have YouTube videos on there, like how to get into streaming, how to get into gaming, and kind of go from there. I bet you this is by size. Oh, this one's actually kind of a more challenging one. Oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. Okay. Well, that was. I made that way more difficult than I needed to. So yeah, that's been kind of a little the why and the purpose too behind it is, for me, I've always found that my purpose is to impact the lives and legacies of others through unlocking their potential. So I feel like, being able to actually reach some people who might benefit for something that's like more of a podcast style, but do it through a medium that which they like watching people play games. So I'll probably keep it at some pretty simple games first, and then maybe get more complex. It does actually take mental capacity to play a game. So I really don't want to be like a hardcore serious game and then trying to be talking about success principles at the same time. So if we get something like this, or even if doing co-working on streaming, having something that is this is one game I just got. It's a great productivity game. So looking at doing something like that. And also learning. So this is definitely very much, and I'm glad it's at this moment just me, very much more of a learning stream. So small things like, what's my plan for the stream? What kind of things I want to talk about? Because, I figure if it's like a video game stream, the value added and the content itself is you playing the video game. But in a podcast, you kind of have to also in a podcast, you actually have to plan out what you're looking to say. And so I guess with this stream, this could be very much like the, hey, getting ready to start anew. And even lessons learned. So I think a good lesson learned that kind of comes from this is it's okay to fail. So looking at what I did in the past. Oh, I see. see. I see, maybe. Wait a second. Wait a second. It's chaos. Actually, this seems to be a pretty apt game for this. You know, learning from your mistakes and your failures. Ah. Get out of here, little cat. Yeah, this is definitely a good game for that. Figuring out your successes and failures. Get stop. Boom. Bam. Shazam. What was that? Yeah. Learning from your failures and going forward with it. I think a lot of people get stuck. Or, for me, like, I knew I was going to put streaming on a big hiatus for a long time because of what I was going through at the moment. But I didn't know I wasn't going to quit. And so hopefully at some point that'll be a little motivational, is, hey, like, you can make it through massive failures. And this stream is actually kind of a testament to that. What? Yeah, the stream's kind of a testament to that, because I'm definitely learning how to get back in the streaming game. Got a new microphone, so had to figure that piece out. Still a lot of pieces and things for me to learn. I'm taking copious amounts of notes on too. Fancy. And, you know, thinking about it now, I think I remember what my original plan was for this, for the content of the stream of this was going to be why. Because you should always start with why. You know, almost kind of digesting the book. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. That one was a great book, and it really talks a lot to people feel the why. And a lot of times when it comes down to it, people get, I wouldn't say people, I'd say like companies, organizations, maybe even content creators, like I said, relatively, well, really new to the space as a creator, might get focused on what do you do? What do you stream? On the content creator side. On the business side of things, what are you manufacturing? What are you creating? You can look at companies like Apple, and you can look at companies like Walmart. Apple is the way it is because, well, yeah, it's kind of changed a little bit, but was the way it was because they focus on their why. Their why was to create a brand, a very specific type of brand for a very specific type of people, you know, to break the status quo. Where did these go? This is moments where you're trying to think. But I mean, you look at like Walmart too. Originally, when it was Sam Walton, he wanted to bring, good quality products at a low price from bulk, from almost like a bulk style system, to where it was at to the American people. But then that got confused with which is low prices. So then they did everything, which turned into like gimmicks and, tactics rather than actual, why. And so that's why you can see the decline of Walmart, which has gone so far away from its why that it is no longer in a state of, people actually liking the product, which is a lot of stuff. Because, yeah, sure, you can get a lot of stuff for cheap, and it does benefit a lot of people who need that stuff for cheap. But then you look at the labor issues, sourcing issues, and all those other things. It's because they got so focused on what they do rather than why they do what they do. Whereas for the most part, Apple has kept to why. Now, granted, their products are super pricey, in my opinion. So if you're an Apple person, hey, no hate. But people are willing to pay for the product because they feel the why behind the product. I think it's even, was it Cadillac? In a Cadillac commercial, people used to buy Cadillacs. They had a downturn as some other car models were coming out, and then they're looking at how they're advertising, and they're advertising what? Like, hey, we got a comfortable ride, we have great shock suspension, stuff like that, until they got someone who almost did kind of like a study. And when they went on to different car makers to see, like, what are these other car makers doing? And it turns out they were focusing on how it makes you feel. And a lot of that is attached to the why. And so Cadillac changed other commercial models to that one commercial where, this actress was driving around and she asked a question: when you turn your car on, does it return the favor? And, the scene's a very, very intensive scene, like driving, fastness, everything, all the cool looking stuff and feeling stuff. And so they got back to, like, we're a luxury car that's got smooth ride, so that's what we're doing. Let's make a powerful why behind it, and add some feeling to it, and focus on why people would buy a Cadillac rather than what would they buy for a Cadillac. Because any other car can provide what a Cadillac does. It's just stuff, but it's the why behind it that matters. And so, kind of tying, I knew it. Tying all that back to, the why streaming. For me, I really felt like the why behind getting back into streaming was twofold. On a little bit of a selfish end, it was something to kind of give me a creative outlet and to actually help me be more productive in some of the other things I'm looking to do and am doing. But I really felt like I could help improve some people's lives based on what I was streaming and what I was saying, and really speaking not just from book knowledge, but from some of my experiences as well, and even just providing like a nice, place for people to be. And so hopefully, really my measure of success, going back to my why on this whole thing, is going to be if at least one person takes away something big and it helps them out in their life. That's really the why behind coming back into streaming. And when you have a powerful why, on the person's end, like on my end, it will help drive me. I can't take the tack. Interesting. Ooh, this one's a hard one too. But with the why too, that's even why I have some of the spots on my Twitch page the way it is, like the tip jar. I'm pretty sure I took out any tipping for me and left, a place that I really want to see happen in San Antonio, which is near where I live. I live in Austin. Um, I want to see them succeed because, one, I love, Japanese culture, go figure. And I'd love to see them succeed at making this maid cafe. So that's part of my why. So it's in part of the stream. I've started embedding it. And the more stuff you can embed, the more of your actual strong, powerful why, and your purpose that you can embed in what you're doing, the more power you have behind it, the more strength, the more drive, the more energy. Like, I could be streaming at 3 a.m. knowing I was reaching an audience, because that would help me exercise my why. And then some of the other parts of that too is, so one being the tip jar, and two, what's inside the tip jar. Now I'm going to change some of the things up because some of the stuff in here is still from the old co-founder Elijah, who's gone on to become an author, and put some of my more of my stuff in there that has to do with my why. And then when I start making YouTube content, I'm going to be cutting stuff that comes down to why I do what I do. Because like for this one, and once I move on to like another topic, having like shorts around motivational stuff with like the background of this. At some point, I'll get the webcam. I have a webcam. Again, maybe it'll pop me up, maybe it won't. Let's see. Well, I got a webcam. Yeah, it's the Streamlabs I'm still figuring out. How's this one supposed to do? Do I go like this? I go, wow. See? And you can see me. But still kind of focusing and working on how I want that to look too. Today's stream is really, one, kind of testing out some of the content and how I want to start presenting it, and two, the actual, like, how do I stream so that it works and sound good. So like one of my notes I have is, mic and how's my mic, and planning what to say for the stream. How's the sound sensitivity, and then like how is copyright work with like the background track to this thing and whatnot. So hopefully when this, however this comes out, the sound's low enough so I don't get any sort of copyright issue. And who knows how that would go. I'm still trying to figure out what this one wants me to do. Oh. Haha, okay. I'm over here trying to get super complicated with like the pattern. But that should still mean every 7 days. And I can work backwards / forwards. I'm in like full big brain mode right now. I'm just gonna brute force it. Bam! That one was a little bit more difficult. So I want to assume it's by height. Oh no, it's not. Maybe height in the middle. Nope. Definitely think it has something to do with this. So maybe you start over here. Sometimes it helps us to change your perspective on things. Start from the other side. That doesn't feel quite right. That feels kind of right. Interesting. Definitely feel like this middle section's right. And the outer section too. There's enough symmetry. So I wonder if I can at least sort by symmetry to make sure each side has one of each type of thing. squiggly, squiggly, thing with a dot, thing with a dot, dot, dot. Just gonna duplicate everything on both sides. So this one needs to be over here. That one, that one, that one, that one. That one, that one. This one is this one. This one is this one. Okay. So now I have everything on its opposite sides, unless it actually goes on this side, and I have them swapped. But I don't think that's 100% the case. But it might be. Nope. 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 Nope, because that's the same one, but reversed. Man, this is one of the moments I'm like, I'm glad that everyone will watch me right now, because I'm over here floundering, trying to figure out this one. I might have to use a hint on what? Oh, it is height based. I'm over here getting way too complex in this. It's not clean all the way. Boom, beautiful. Goodness gracious. Don't tell me it was a red herring the whole time, the whole arrangement on the bottom. It was a red herring. I'm up here trying to arrange the bottom. This little pattern right here. Dang. Alright, don't overcomplicate. Hey, you know what? That's another good lesson to talk about this episode is don't overcomplicate things. What? Oh, wait. That's like mildly irritating. You need to be like that. Nope, nope. That's like reverse fixing it. I think getting back on the topic of like starting all the way over, I definitely don't see Twitch 100% as a place for me to be like, I'm gonna start streaming from Twitch. I think it's let's arrange all of it first. I think it's very much gonna be the true growth is going to come from YouTube and redirecting YouTube traffic over this way. Rather than trying to 100% generate all traffic and viewership here, and then wondering why my stream's not growing. I feel like there's probably a bigger audience, and maybe even some more of the audience that I'm trying to look to impact in YouTube rather than in Twitch. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, and then redirecting it. So that's what I'm thinking. YouTube Shorts, and then maybe just straight up like YouTube videos. That I might do some different type of content with, but generally the same kind of overview and message of really just trying to bring some good positive impact into people's lives through the media of this, and maybe even a game they just have on the background while they're being productive. Hey, I was like, hey, I got first time chat. Oh, what is it? It's a bot. Boom. All right, problem solved with that. Got rid of that bot. Yeah, and one of the other things too I wanted to get looking at was at some point, even this is way down the line if you want to talk about why and vision, was actually even sitting down and talking with content creators and actually seeing how they started, what that was like. What that was like with them. I think it'd be really interesting to see how other people got started, because you can even look at like Jacksepticeye, and you know, he's talked about it a couple times, like his first videos. He's just like, you know, it wasn't necessarily the best, but he kept going through it. Kylan, last time you start off with something in the center. Maybe. Oh. Perhaps not. So he probably goes up here. Yeah, you gotta go somewhere. Oh, there we go. Oh, baby, it's a triple. That's satisfaction right there. Another book one. My thought is the thickness. Maybe the thickness? This almost seems like a totally random order. Huh. Oh yeah. Well, so back on on my major why too is I also want to see, is it possible to become a successful streamer? And for me, success is, like I said, it's very much along the lines of the impact it can have on people rather than money made. And I think when you focus on process over result, it's way easier to do things and be successful in life. Also, defining what success means for you. That's another important piece. But I really think that, for me, just seeing if almost by pure principle alone, as opposed to like trying to come up with some sort of like tactic or like top 20 tips to being the next Markiplier Septicai. Actually, just having like, hey, no, if you actually follow the principles of success that make you successful in professional world, business world, anything like that, then yes, you'll also be successful as a streamer. So being consistent with a schedule, planning things out, doing a little bit of research. So you have to actually learn about the industry you're trying to get into. Was it by color? But seeing if I could do that, stay determined and consistent, persistent and consistent, and diligent and building habits around it, if I would still become successful. And I know I will. And I think I'm very confident in that piece. I want to not necessarily prove it to the world, but just kind of see if it can be done. And then if it can be done with principles, then it can be taught to other people. And then that ultimately helps me do one of the things I've really always wanted to do, and that's how to get content creators out of a job and into creating content. And also helping them understand it takes work. Like, I like to use Jacksepticeye because I do know a little bit about some of the background of him. It took him a long time before he really started picking up, but once you pick up, though, it becomes exponential depending on how you do it. Obviously, I think another piece that people forget about too is the character. If you don't have a solid character, your success always goes to the level of your character. So if you have a spike in success but you're low in character, your success is gonna come down with you. Whereas if you grow your character, your success will slowly rise until it becomes exponential to match your character. So that's kind of the thoughts on that. But in terms of my schedule for today, so that is all the time I got for today. This is a pretty good test run. Hopefully everything comes out, when I go to review and do like an after action review and see how everything turned out. If I got some good content out of it, maybe I'll get a couple snippets for YouTube Shorts. Who knows? But I think it's very exciting for getting back into the stream. I don't really need to do anything super long. I'm not looking to do like really long term, or not long term, but long time streams, like the multiple hour streams. At first, at least, really just looking to one, test my systems, and then two, actually see, what kind of content I want to do. So hopefully, if anyone ever watches this, and if they don't, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, very much a test. But I guess just kind of remember to be happy and be kind. And good things are coming out there for you. So that's all I got for this stream. And have a good one.